Principle number 13, probably the biggest one of all, is bracketing. People operate in price brackets because they are they are driven by their monthly payment. Okay? The brackets are under 100,000, it's $5,000 brackets. 100 to 200, it's $10,000 brackets. 200 to 300, it's 25, and over 300, it's $50,000 brackets. That's how people look at houses. That's how people buy houses. So once you do your CMA and you realize that the average sales price for a house like the one you're getting ready to list is in a bracket, you can go to the upper end of the bracket with the pricing. Because the marketplace does not differentiate. Once they get in a bracket, they don't differentiate by price anymore. To a buyer, there is no difference between a house at $149,900 and $147,500. There's no difference. There's also no difference at $144,900 or $142,500. The next number is $139,900. So if average sales price for a house like I'm getting ready to list is $146,123, it's a $149,900 house. Right? Buyers don't differentiate once they're in a bracket. Now the guy that can spend $149,000 for a house, what price range do they start out looking at?
160.
Like the one, yeah, or no, like the 130s. Right? And it's like, well, I want to start in the 130s. I know I can do more, but I only want to spend in the 130s. And then they look at the 130s and they're like, okay, well, this isn't it. I expected way more than this. Now as a buyer, you have to make a decision. Are you going to raise your price range, or are you going to lower your expectations? Well, they've already been to the lender, right? They already know how much they could spend if they had to. They ain't going to lower their expectations. They're going to raise their price range. They're going to max themselves out. This is a societal move that's happened in probably the last 15 years. Those of us that have been around for a long time, you take people into a loan app, the lender would tell them how much they could qualify for, and they'd go, there is no way. There is no way I'm obligating myself to that much payment every month. Now look at them. Can you give me another little bit? Can I do a little bit more? Right? A payment does not scare people anymore. We're a payment-driven economy. Principle number 14 is cream, and it just simply means cream rises. Right? Cream always rises. So when you ever had somebody look at you and say, you know, I got the craziest thing. I had this listing and nobody wanted it. Now all of a sudden everybody wants it. Isn't that weird? No, it's not weird. It's just a cream rose. It just means that everything better than that property in that bracket sold. They're gone. You're now the best one. And as I've laid out for you before with that chart of people coming in and out of the market and the fluidity of this thing, you better get your house sold while you're the best one, because tomorrow you may not be. Right? And in some cases, you'll never be that person. Principle number 15, who is helping who? Selling homes is all about competition. Either the marketplace is helping you sell your listing or you're helping somebody else sell theirs, and it is that black and white. It's that black and white because people look at price brackets based on monthly payment. They do it off baselines, and all of a sudden, either your new listing that you were filling out today, right?
Of course.
You're filling out a new listing today. When that hits MLS, it's either the best one or it's not. To me, it's just that black and white. And when it's the best one, the agents will manipulate the market in your favor. Oh, wow, did you see that new listing? That is awesome. I wish I had a buyer for it. This one's not going to last very long. Oh, really? What was that? What's a good one? Right? So agents are going to manipulate the market in a positive manner or a negative manner. But we're going to manipulate it because we're out there every day. Number 16 is the 3 levels. And here's how we know whether we're being manipulated or not in a positive or negative way. Level number 1 is agent excitement. Every time a new house comes on the market, we want the agents, the populace of agents that are out there, to be excited about the house. You're not going to get every agent, though, to be excited about the house. You're only going to get the agents to be excited about the house that have a buyer in the price range looking for the physical feature baseline that one has. We want them to be excited. And how do we do that? We do that by the price of the house and by the location of the house. Secondly, we want buyers in great numbers. The agents were excited about it. They called their buyer and they said, there's a new listing. I think it might be a really good one. Let's go take a look. And lastly, you're always one of the top 2 or 3 homes. And when your listing is always one of the top 2 or 3, when you check for feedback, this house will sell. And if it's not one of the top 2 or 3, it ain't going to. Because what one buyer likes, they all like. What one buyer dislikes, they all dislike. They're all looking at the same houses. We could put them on buses and drive them around. They even did this in Vegas with the foreclosure deal. You could do it today. We're just using our own cars. They are all looking at the same houses. This is why you have this is why you have multiple offers, Tracy. Right? Because it was a great house. And my buyer acknowledged it was a great house, and holy crap, your buyer acknowledged it was a great house too. And then there's all these other sellers sitting out there going, why can't I have a great house? And the disconnect is a lot of times as realtors, we know why they're in a great house, but nobody tells them. We're afraid to tell them. We're afraid to have that conversation. Why? We might lose the listing. We need to change that. We need to change that up a little bit. We get agents excited about property by number 1, where it is, and number 2, by how much we're asking for. That's the only way to get you guys excited about a house. You have a buyer that you're working with right now. They've looked at you and said, let me know when something new comes up. By the way, I have to move by the end of May because my lease is up, or I sold my house, or whatever. Every day you're going and looking at new listings, aren't you? So when a new house shows up in the location of the price bracket of your buyer, what do? Pick up the phone and call your buyer. That's how you get agents excited. Secondly, that happens a lot. We get buyers in great numbers. Normal market, you should see 8 to 10 showings in the first 2 weeks. Now you got to make your own determination on your marketplace right now and where you are. If you get, you can basically lay that out as a truth, and then you can adjust when you're dealing with various sellers. So you might say, look, normally we're expecting 8 to 10 showings in the first 2 weeks, but you got a suburban type property, right? We'd be doing really good to get 8 to 10 showings in the first 3 months. The pool of buyers isn't that deep, and I've already explained to you how few sales there are compared to how many properties there are for people to look at. Okay, and we're always one of the top 2 or 3. That's the deal that we have to go to. So here's kind of how this plays out in real world fluidity of sellers that you have. We list a house, the new listing that you filled out today, and nobody ever comes through. We got a problem, and this is not a 30-day problem. Right? Unless the average market time for a house. What was that you were filling out? I walked by your office and you were doing something on a listing.
Me?
Yeah.
I was filling out a contract, not a listing.
Oh, it was a contract. Who's filling out a listing today? Who's had a listing today? Anybody?
Come on, somebody hold their hand up. I hate to
Fake
be
it.
on the way.
I had one last week, if it matters.
Okay, we'll use your last week. You had one last week. It's on the market now.
It's on the market as of Monday. Monday or Tuesday. It hit the market. Yeah.
As
the
in
sign
yesterday or the
on
day
Friday.
before.
Right. Yeah.